Good morning, students. Welcome you all to the virtual class learning for the subject Social Science for Standard 7. Now, in our previous classes of social science, till now, we have done two lessons of geography and one lesson from political science. If you remember those lessons from geography, we did environment and our planet Earth, our interior of the Earth we saw. How many layers are there, what are the things are there inside the earth we saw. And even from political science we did one lesson, that is on equality. So one from politics and two from geography we did till now. Now moving to the other part of social science, because social science is basically comprises of three subjects: history, political science and geography. So geography and political science is over. Now the turn is to move to history. Quite boring, no? Yes, many people feel that, but it is not. If you pay attention, if you take interest in the subject, it's a most interesting subject for you all. So try to be more attentive and pay attention here and try to create interest in history also. First, before starting with the lesson which is there, one question is there for you all. That question is, what is history? What is history? Know the answer? History is actually the events of past, but it is in a very systematic manner. In short, in simple way, history is about the story of a man in the past events, or in a very chronological order. Like period wise, according to the date, years, and everything, history is mentioned. So it's a history of a human beings, a history of a people, or any past events which are there. Okay, now you can see I have written there are something more else given over there, that is periods of history. Periods of history, heard about it? You can see three I have mentioned already: ancient, medieval and modern. Ancient, which is a very old one, medieval in the middle part, and modern means temporary, which is going on, or few years back, whatever the history happens, that comes under the category of modern. So this way there are three periods of history: ancient, medieval and modern. In your last year class, that is in 6th standard, remember which history you study? Any names of the lessons or any topics or any incidents in your history class which happens? Remember anything? Well, the history which you study last year is ancient history. That means a very old history you all study. Maybe about the Stone Age period was there, about the people living in a forest and everything, Harappan civilization, or that. All that is ancient history, which you have studied last year. Now this year we are going to move little bit ahead. That means from ancient we are going to next step, and the next step which is medieval. Medieval period we are going to study in this year. In your 7th standard history, throughout the year you are going to study about the medieval period. Now medieval period we have a lot to study, that you will see in one by one in all lessons. Now coming slowly when we are moving through towards this period, that is the medieval period, first of all we are going to see what are the changes happen in this period. Okay, so first in this lesson we are going to find out the changes in the medieval period, or before that also what were the changes and what changes happen in the medieval period. So somewhere we can do the comparison also between ancient and the medieval period. Okay, so the today the lesson which we are going to see is, or study is, tracing changes through 1,000 years. 1,000 years, why 1,000 years are mentioned? Because our Indian history is very old. Not only Indian history, the world history we would say it's a very old one. So that's why thousands of years they have mentioned here. Now many years ago what the changes happened, and till now still the changes are happening. So that comparison we will see in this lesson, and we will come to know about the different things also which you people were not aware actually what were the changes were there. Okay, so first one is, you can see one picture is given over here. It's a map actually. Map is drawn by the geographer Al Idrisi in 12th century. Able to recognize anything in this map? No, no, because it's a something different. Not able to recognize which country, where it is, and even the names also. Because whatever the names are written, it is written in Arabic form. Persian or handwriting was there. Persian writing was a font used over there, because he was, this Al Idrisi was there. He was the Arab geographer, and when he draw this map in 12th century, and in the year 1154 CE. Just imagine 1154, and now we are living in 2020. So how much year gap it is? 900 years. So just imagine 900 years ago, one man whose name is Al Idrisi, he is a geographer, a cartographer, he draw this map. Now, able to recognize any country, of which country the map is? Well, if I'll say, you people will be shocked to hear that this map is little bit of a part of the country where we are living. We are living in which country? India. So you think this is India's map? Not able to recognize, na? See, the boundaries, if you see through this one, uh, a little bit, from the lower part of the picture till the round shape which is given over there, from there till here, they have mentioned this is actually, India's map which they have drawn in a opposite direction. Like it's a mirror image we can see. This is the southern part they have shown here, and this round shape you can see the big one which is given in the middle, that is the Sri Lanka map they have drawn here, Sri Lanka country. And next to Sri Lanka, small dots or small things which are there, they are the different islands which are there. So this map is actually the reverse one which was drawn by Al Idrisi. Maybe the time when he draw, he was coming from Arab to India. So from the northern side he saw India. So from the northern side, if we turn the map of our country, from the northern side if we are trying to look, we can see this part like this. The southern part and Sri Lanka in this way. That it looks different to us. The mirror image, like now today's map, in present scenario, Sri Lanka is in south to India. But in Al Idrisi map, we can see that Sri Lanka is in the north of India. He draws in this way. So that was the kind of a map, first map drawn by Al Idrisi in 1154 CE. Now, one more is there. You can see this one. Able to recognize easily. Yes, because it is somewhere similar which we are using now, which we saw the map of India today. And most of the things are written in English alphabets, you can see easily. So you are able to read it also, and somewhere the figures also are able to recognize. This is the map of India, and this was drawn by a cartographer, French cartographer. Okay, in 1720s. So this was a different map. See, in 19th century, which map I am showing to you all, it is drawn by in early 18th century or the 19th century by a cartographer. His name is Atlas Novio of Guillaume. Now see this map, first one which I show you of Al Idrisi. This was the first map drawn in 12th century. After that, second map was drawn in 1720. by a French cartographer. Now I am using the word cartographer again and again. So what does that mean? Cartographer. Cartographer is the one who makes map. Like the one who is teaching is called teacher. So the one who make the map is called cartographer. Okay, and the map which I am showing to you all are there in your textbook. You can go through your textbook also, refer the textbook and read the lesson also at the same time. So this is the map of India drawn in 19th century. So you can see the different changes which are there even in the map also. For we will see the different changes which happen in the different things, but before that, you can see the changes which occurs in terms of map only, how different it is. First one we were not able to recognize only, which was drawn in 12th century, but in 19th century we are able to recognize that it is our country, because it is somewhere similar to the map of today's India. So this is the first change we saw, that how the changes happen. Even in the names also of the countries, or of the in our countries only, the different cities which are there, their names also got changed. Earlier, if you remember, last year you have studied the history of ancient period. And in ancient period, if you have studied the different dynasties like Chola dynasty, Pallava dynasty, and the other many dynasties which are there, in those particular dynasties or before that, the city names were different. Now it is slowly the cities names are also getting changed. Earlier the city names were different, now it is different, and even it is continuously going on that the city names are changing. That is happening till now also, because if you remember, one of the city in India, in Uttar Pradesh, its name got changed after their chief minister. In Uttar Pradesh, one city which was there, that name is Allahabad. Earlier Allahabad name was there of the city in during the Mughal periods, or somewhere in the medieval period only that city name got changed. Before Allahabad also the name was different in the ancient period. In ancient period it was different, then it came to Allahabad in the medieval period, and now in that modern history, that is temporary or recently, the city name got changed. Allahabad turned into Prayagraj. So this way the names also get changed of the cities also. Here in this map, it is written in a very small size, so we are not able to read the cities names. But if you find out the city's name in the ancient period or in the medieval period, some names are different from the names which are there today. So this is also one kind of a change which is happening. Okay, now moving to the next. These are the points are there in this lesson. New and old terminologies, historians and their sources, new social and political groups, region and empire, old and new religions, thinking about time and historical periods. These are the main points of this lesson that we are going to cover, and inside these points, what things are there, that also we will discuss one by one. First, we will move to the first point. What is the first point? That is new and old terminologies. Now, new and old terminologies means what here? Terminologies means, basically there was a change in the words or which are used by the people. The language the people speak, that is different. The words which the people use, that is also different, and even their meanings also different. The people same words, or the for the same place the words get different. Even if you take the example of our country, now what we call, the name of our country is India. We say we are Indians. So this is in the modern period. Our country name is India as a modern nation state. But in the previous time, Earlier when the historians were there, they used the different names for it. Like in 13th century, there was a Persian chronicler. His name is Minhaj Siraj. Chronicler, like uh, chronicler is said to the person who used to write the events of history in a chronicle manner, like period wise, year wise, like we say timeline, how events happens, that timeline used to show. In that way the chronicler used to mention the events. So this Persian uh, chronicler Minhaj Siraj, in 13th century, what he did, he meant the areas of Punjab, Haryana, and the lands between the Ganga and Yamuna. He used this as a part of Hindustan, he used to call it, the Hind part which was there. This land which I told, he considered this as a part of the Delhi Sultan. Delhi Sultan, heard about this? No, na, because last year study ancient. So in ancient, Delhi Sultans were not there. Don't worry. This year we are going to study about them also. So just remember, the Delhi Sultans, Minhaj Siraj considered all these areas of India as a part of the Sultanate of Delhi. Now this area got shifted also. Like he does not include the southern India part. Then slowly the changes when occurs in in early 16th century, when Babur came to India. Babur, know who is Babur? He was the founder of Mughal emperor. He was actually from Afghanistan and he invaded India in the early 16th century, and he came to India and he founded the Mughal empire over here, and he is known as the uh, foundation of Mughal emperor, founder of Mughal emperor in India. Now, when he came to India and when he saw India, he observed the different parts of India, like the geographical condition of India, the flora and fauna, and the culture of the people, those who are living here. He observed all the things in this period in early 16th century when he came to India. So in Babur court, there was one poet also. Babur, when he came to India in early 16th century, the country was very new for him. So he was not aware of all the things. So when he observed all the things, and uh, he, like actually he came to visit, where he got invited, and when he came to India, he got attracted by the beauty of India, by the geography, the flora and fauna, and even the culture of the people, those who are living over here. Now, apart from this, there is one poet in 14th century. His name is Amir Khusro. Amir Khusro used the word Hind for India. Hind word is used as per the the term, it becomes Hindustan now. After slowly the Hind got changed into Hindustan, and after Hindustan now we call it our country as India. So see our country name also how it got changed. First it was called Hind. From Hind it became Hindustan, and from Hindustan now it is called as India. Okay. Now in example, if you see, I have given the example of two words, Hindustan and foreigner. Hindustan, I explain how it got changed slowly. Okay. Now after that, one more word which is there, that word is known as foreigner. Now we know the meaning of word foreigner. Yes. What does foreigner mean? That somebody who came from the other country in our country. Like somebody who is not a part of India for us, we call them as foreigner. But in the medieval period, they use the word foreigner in a different way. Like to whom they called as foreigner? To any stranger. Stranger means somebody who is came from the different village or from the different culture, different background. So they were also called as uh, foreigner by them. Now we don't use them as a foreigner, because if they are a part of our country, we call them as Indian only. We don't call them as foreigner. Now, earlier period in Hindi, foreigner word which is there in Hindi, foreigner is called as Pardesi also, and even in Persian it is called as Ajnabi. So same word, foreigner, in English it is called foreigner, in Hindi called it as Pardesi, and in Persian it is called as Ajnabi. So that same word in different language, when it's get language get changed, the word get changed. Foreigner, we called it as Pardesi and Ajnabi, but the meaning remains same. That somebody from the other country we call them. But in medieval period, to somebody, anybody who comes from anywhere, they are called as foreigner. Like we are living in a state of Maharashtra. If somebody comes from our neighboring state to our state and living next to us, like for example, they came from Gujarat, from Surat, they came and they started living in our neighbor. Do we call them as foreigner? No. Other side of our house, one person came from USA and he is living over there. So now in this scenario, one side family is there who came from USA, and the other side we have the family who came from Surat. So to whom we will call as foreigner? To the family who came from USA, because they are not a part of our country. Whereas Surat is a part of our country only, we will not call them as foreigner. But in the medieval period, what the people used to do, they used to call both the families foreigner only. Those who came from USA also, and those who came from Surat also. So this way the meaning got changed. See the terminologies, how it got changed. Foreigner in the medieval period, all the people those who came from there, limited boundary is there. Apart from that boundary, if somebody comes from out of the boundary, that person is called foreigner. And now the terminology for foreigner is that we call we call them foreigner, those who came from the other country. Even Hindustan also, old terminology is Hindustan. Now new terminology is India. Okay, this way it get changed. Now moving to the next point. The next point which we have is historians and their sources. Now if you have studied about the sources in your last year history, so you will know that there are three types of sources. I have mentioned also oral sources, written sources, and material sources. Now oral means what? Orally means something, uh, in a form of a songs, bhajans, povada, or anything which are there in a oral form. When we recite it or when we say that, it becomes orally. When it comes from our mouth, it becomes oral. There is no written form of oral sources. Okay, it is, passed from one generation to other generation, one by one. Next we have is the written sources. Written sources means what? Something which is in a written form. It can be anything. Nowadays we are writing, a mode of writing also got changed. See the difference in the writing also. Earlier in the ancient period, if you remember, the people used to, uh, write. That is not called writing, actually it's called engraving. They used to grave on the they used to write it on the walls, inscription which is called. uh, they used to write it on the walls of the caves where they are living. Then slowly the changes happened. Paper printing was started. People started living on paper also. Before paper also, the people used to write it on the metal also. Metallic sheet used to be their, copper sheet, and even the leaf also. People use that also for writing. After that, in the medieval period, when printing was started, people used to started writing on the papers. Now also we write in paper form. But do we write only in paper? No, we are living in a technologically advanced period. So, in this technologically advanced period, we used to have a written record, we used to have a record in a typing form. So, apart from writing with the hand, holding the pen, we used to do the typing also to keep the source, to save it something. So this is the different way of written sources which are there. The next one which we have is material sources. Material sources is studying about history, about which the materials are available, any things or any materials which are available, so that comes under the category of material sources. Now the historians which studying about the changes or about the history, what they do, they are fully rely on these sources, because with the help of these sources only they used to write the history. The history which is there, all the sources which are there, that also historians have to be very careful about it, because they have to find it actually whether it is fully reliable or not. They have to do the investigation, whatever the things they are getting, either it's a written or a material, they have to do the proper investigation of their, they have to do the proper study of that, then only they will be able to find out actually. And because without proof they cannot write history, just because somebody said, they have to do the investigation of that, they have to find out that. Now in your last year history, you have studied about the rulers of Gupta dynasty. Remember that or forgot? Now Gupta dynasty was there, and even the founder of Gupta dynasty and the others, those who were there, Harshvardhan was there. He was the very remarkable, ruler that time. Now, in this year of history, what we are going to study is from after that only, just after that, that means from 700 years to 1750. That means almost more than 1000 years history we are going to study in this year. That's why the lesson name is also tracing changes through 1000 years. Now, in the previous year in sixth history, what you study about the ancient period and till 700 CE. CE I say, that means Christ era. In ancient, you study about the before Christ era also. Before Christ and Christ era. So, in this year, we are studying about the Christ era or Christian era from 700 years to 1750, 1750. Now, you all must be aware when I am saying what is CE, Christ era. Christ era or Christian era is actually said to, the year in which Jesus was born. When the Jesus was born, from that time the Christ era started, CE era started, and the year which he was born is called 1. So from 1 like this. So if we are saying 700 years, so that means we are studying about the history after 700 years after the birth of Jesus Christ until 750. And now the period in which we are living, that is 2020. It shows that 2020 years ago Jesus Christ was born. We are living in that Christ era only. Okay. Now as I told you about the sources which are there, written sources, material sources. Written sources, mostly it is in inscription which was there either in the walls, caves, or in the metal sheet, on the leaf, in the papers also, because in the medieval period people started living on that. So that is all there. And apart from that, in material sources, coins are there. Coins are there, pots are there, toys are there, whatever the material we are getting, that whatever the material is founded by the archaeologist. Okay, That comes under the category of material sources. Even the different historical monuments which are there, those historical monuments also part of a material sources only. Now there are number or variety of sources which are there, which provide the different information. Previous, very old history, it was very difficult to find out each and everything, because there are no proper sources available. Okay, materials are only there, or things which are there. But slowly when the people started writing, mostly in the medieval period, what they used to do, they used to write everything in a paper. It can be anything. It can be their holy text. Holy text means, holy book which is there, the religious book. So whatever is there, they you started writing that also. And even the chronicles of rulers also. Chronicles of rulers, like the rulers who were there in those period, about their history, sequentially, in a in a very proper systematic sequence, one by one, those chronicles of rulers were there. Even the letters also, letters written by the different rulers, they used to send to one another, and another rulers, that is also are there. And even the teachings of saints. In the history of Maharashtra, or in the history of India, if you observe, there were many saints, those who were there. Whatever the teachings of those saints which are there, that is also mentioned in the written form. So all this we have a record. Not only this one, even in the terms of, a judicial manner, about the law and everything, that is also mentioned in a written form. So we have, like, our country got independence in 47 and became republic in 1950. How we became republic? Because, till that time the constitution was there, and the country started running as per the constitution. So constitution, if you saw, that is fully in the written form. Each and every article or laws and everything is mentioned in constitution in a proper written manner. So that is also kind of a source for us of our constitution, and that is the written source which we have. Now, all the written sources which are there, not only about the present period, but, from many years. In the medieval period, as I said, the rulers started writing. So medieval period, in modern period, whatever the written records which are there, written records are about anything. It is about the rulers also, it is about the great personalities also, it is about the people, inventions also, or anything which should be remarkable, that all were preserved in India from many years, and that was kept in one library. That library for our country, which is called archives. That archives in our country is situated in Delhi, capital of our country. In Delhi, that archives, the library which is there, all the historical, written records are preserved in a very detailed manner. Each and everything, all the documents are kept over there. Now this is about, people started writing, and even as I said, we are living in a technologically advanced period, so we used to do typing also. We used to do typing, and we used to do take a printout of that. Now, before that also, pages also needed, and pages also printed, or, made in the factories or somewhere. So when the print books which are there, nowadays we read many books. So you think the people, each and every books which are available in the market, the people used to write with their hands and they used to type each and every book? No. What they used to do, they used to, if they are writing one book, or if they are typing one book, then they give it then they give it to press printing, where they take out the thousands of copies of the same one. So this way the people work become easier, and printing press was started when this was happened. But when the printing press was not there, then what happened? The people have to make a number of copies with their hand. Now whatever the things are, so see how difficult it was for the people. They have to write a number of copies. as a record. Now it has simply become easier. The number of copy we want, machines are available for us, and we are easily getting a printout from that. So this way the changes which are there in the written sources also. Earlier the people used to write with the hands, and then slowly printing press was started, and the people used to give it for printing. And now in the technological period the people started typing also to preserve the record. This way the changes happen actually in the written form also of the sources which are there. Now this is about the sources, as I said. Now the people, those who are writing, that is written in a different form also. Like handwriting is different, the font which is different, the style which is different, that also all matters. Like people, those who belong to their particular country, they write as per the language which they know. So in different way it was written. Like for our country, if we take the example, in our country the old language was Sanskrit. So in Hindu mythology, whatever the records which are there, it was all written in Sanskrit language. Okay. Apart from our country, the other writers, those who were there. So in the 14th century, Ziauddin Barani was there. He has written his chronicle in 1356, and even another version of that came after 2 years. In both the things he has written in a different language, and the two different from each other, but the historians did not know about the existence of the first version until the 1960s, and this all were kept in the libraries only. Okay. Earlier the Persians used to write. Persians or the Arabians, when they started writing, they started writing in the Persian language or in the Arabic. So this way the people language is also different when they are writing. So this way you have understood the historians and their sources. Now today what we have seen till now, first we saw what is history, and then the different periods of history which are there. That we saw the ancient, the medieval. Ancient was the period, medieval period, and modern period. And we discussed that this year we are going to study with uh, medieval period. Okay. So in medieval period, first what we saw, when we are talking about this medieval period is from 700 to 1700 years, almost 1000 years. It is 1000 years history which we are studying in this year. So in this year, through this 1000 year, what are the changes happen, we will see. We saw till now, we saw the changes in map, the map which are drawn, how different it is one from another after a period of time. After that, what we saw is new and old terminologies. New and old terminologies means, the language of the people, the words which they use, and even their meanings also, that we saw today. After that, we saw historians and their sources, the different types of sources, how it is useful for the people, and where the people are using it in a proper manner, that we saw today. Now, as I discussed with you all, there are number of points which are there. So the remaining points which are there, that points we are going to continue in our next class. So till our next class, I want you all to go through the lesson, read the lesson thoroughly with proper understanding of the lesson. It's not like just reading only and nothing is, are able to nothing you people are able to understand. No, when you're reading it, pay full attention to it and try to understand the meaning of each and every word and sentence. And if you are still not able to clear with whatever I have explained, what you can do is again go through the explanation, listen to the explanation carefully, as well as same time after the explanation read the lesson also. The idea will get more clear to you. You will be able to understand it properly. Okay, so till our next class, I expect you all to do this much, that read the lesson completely and properly. Thank you.